Hello, fellow artists of Embrace Creatives. My name is Fernando Del Rosario. I am a fellow Embrace Creative artist. And this is me introducing myself for my very first kind of video blog. Andrea and I have talked about me sharing some of my knowledge and information as far as being both an artist and a business person and also a marketer. So a little bit of who I am outside of being a fellow artist is that I am a creative director with ad agencies and design firms. My career path was, or still is working with, I worked with multiple ad agencies throughout my career, working on car brands like Lincoln Mercury, Jaguar, Land Rover, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Hyundai, all the way to food, quick service restaurants like Taco Bell, Carl's Jr., and also within the entertainment industry, working with Warner Brothers, and toy companies like Mattel, and so on. So my background is I graduated with a graphic design degree at Center for Creative Studies, CCS, there in downtown Detroit. And from there, kind of progressed on my career, going from one ad agency to another, and moving up the ranks as a creative director. For the last 6 years, I've been independent on my own, meaning that I've worked with multiple agencies, companies, brands, and been building up my own set of clienteles. And now I've started my own company, my own ad agency. Also within that last 6 years, I started a artist career path. I've always had ideas and finally had the opportunity to create artwork that I've been showcasing in different art galleries, events, functions, and so on. And so, oh, and besides those two specific things, with working with companies and brands and my artistic side, art side of things, I also teach. I teach at Cal State Fullerton. I live here in California now, and so I teach at Cal State Fullerton. For 17 years or so, I taught at the Art Institute here in Orange County, and just last year I started teaching at Cal State Fullerton Visual Arts Department. I teach design, marketing, and advertising. So all of that being said, I wanted to give everybody here a quick snapshot of who I am and what it is that I do. And part of that is because I wanted the things that I've talked about in my role within Embrace Creatives is that me sharing some of the knowledge and things that I do personally and professionally within my art that is in the other side of the equation, which is the business side of the equations, which I know, and I'm guilty of it myself. Sometimes as artists, the business side of things is not necessarily our strong suit. We'd rather create art, spend our time expressing and ourselves, our creativity, and relaying a message with our artistry and our craft, and just have it on a wall and sell them, of course, or if that's something that you want, or at the very least kind of inspire people in the community. But the other side of that is that there is a huge component that that is not easy to deal with, which is the business and logistical side of the industry, of the art industry. And I wanted to talk to you about that. And my hopes and dreams and goals is to kind of continue on this this conversation with you. Uh, we'll continue to post it through Embrace Creatives, and this will be one of the services to being part of Embrace Creatives to have this have my knowledge and what I am bringing to the table as a resource for you. So that being said, the first topic for this talk is really communication. Communication is such an integral key part of what it is that we do. As artists, we know the concept and theory of communication. Our art communicates to our viewer. Our craft communicates to the people that are looking at our artwork, and hopefully getting the message across, whatever it might be, whatever it is that we're trying to say with our art. But the other side of that is the same basic principle plays a factor as far as the business side of it, as far as communicating. And what I mean about that is that it's our job to not just communicate our creativity through our work, but it's our job to communicate the logistical side of our work. You know, it could be as simple as, what is the idea? What's the idea of your art? What is the idea of your painting, of your drawing, of your sculpture? What are you trying to say about your craftsmanship? What are you trying to convey? What message are you trying to communicate? And I know some of you might think, well, my art should speak for itself. Yes, absolutely, I get it. But it's equally important that we put these thoughts on paper. You know, write them down. Write down why you did what you did. Okay, write it down on a piece of paper, on a card. Write it. Just take it out of your brain and write it on a piece of paper. Write it on a Word document that is ongoing on your computer. Because what you will do with that write-up, is then that becomes part of your communication. That can be part of the little card that will be mounted next to your art. That could be part of the write-up that's on your website. You know, that could be part of a write-up that you give to an art gallery, that you're trying to connect with, because then that opens up the communication of showing what is going on in your brain, in your creative brain. Okay, now along with that piece of tidbit about your artwork, it could be just as simple and as quickly as you're just writing the bottom of the size of that art piece. It's really that simple. It's a 5x6 or it's a 40x30, acrylic or watercolor. Just write down the materials, the medium. You know, you've already written down your idea. You've already written down your concept, your story, your narrative. Write down what you created with. And then that will, once you can get in a groove of writing down your concept, your idea, your narrative, it becomes really easier for you just to write down the basic information about your artwork. And the more you do it, the easier it'll get. And here's one thing I'll share with you. The more you do it, it actually continues to feed your creativity, because you're able to put on paper some of the thinking, some of the rich thinking that you have in your mind, put it on document it, and it's out from your mind. Then your mind can be free to think of other things. Okay, so get in a groove of writing down and being able to communicate what's in your mind, what's in your creativity on a piece of paper, on a document, and then be able to share that. Okay, so let's end it with that for now. I do my best to keep these videos about 10 minutes long in bite-sized pieces. If there's any topics, any questions that you might have for me, please send me a note through my Embrace Creative profile. If you want me to talk about anything and everything about business and marketing and advertising yourself as an artist, let me know. I will continue to come up with topics like tonight's communication. Two could be how do you market yourself? How do you advertise your craft, your creativity? How do you work with galleries? How do you approach galleries? How do you talk to galleries? How do you talk to the public about your art? So I hope to stay tuned, and I look forward to sharing more with you. Thanks, and have a great day.